you've really lived and put your effort out to build community, connect people. It's a wonderful thing.
Thank you, man.
I used to work for one of the most respected distilleries right now in the industry, in the world, in the tequila business.
Which is
El Pandillo.
Yep.
I used to be the chemist of El Pandillo.
We won a double gold from Agavos Awards for our second
Great.
production.
That's Grover Sansing, right?
That is
Scarlet.
him. Absolutely.
Fantastic. TequilaTastemaker.com. Perfect.
I want to say that several of Oscar's brands won double gold.
is not
Actually,
easy.
yeah.
Yeah. No. We
Kudos
were
to you.
very proud, sir.
all right, man. Legacy Lounge. Sometimes people want to talk.
We have incredible guests here.
What's up, brother?
The definition of the Legacy Lounge is the stuff that he's putting together. He's a great community leader. His story is amazing.
All right, we are back. Episode, is it 53, Nate? Episode 54. We have some legends in this room right now. I'm going to start off with the queen herself, Melanie Shelby.
I am not a legend.
You are a legend.
I am just in the company of iconic people.
Well,
how's that?
We got the brand founder, owner of Enelama Tequila. You have one that I'm staring at right now because I can't wait to taste that. That's your brand new. Is it soon to be released Añejo?
We literally just bottled and labeled. We finished that yesterday.
Yes.
Yes.
Exciting. We got
Absolutely.
your master distiller, Oscar Vazquez, all the way from Mexico. From whereabouts in Mexico again? Do you live?
Arandas, Jalisco.
Amazing.
Arandas, Jalisco. Very near to Guadalajara. So in Jalisco Highlands.
And of course, how this kind of all works. We got Jake Lustig, who's also an incredible.
Now that's the legend.
I
He's a
mean,
legend.
That's the legend.
Jake-
These are the iconic people.
You're
This is the legend.
he's got his ArteNOM. Of course, when I texted him and I'm like, I've been wanting you to meet Melanie for a long time. And I mentioned Oscar. Of course, Jake's like, yeah, I know Oscar. Like, so we got Jake Lustig. Thank you for joining
Thank you.
us, Jake.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to get right into it. Melanie, tell us about where you are at right now with the brand. How long has it been since you launched? And tell me about just kind of how special it is right now that you have Oscar here with you in your hometown.
First of all, I want to say thank you. I literally called you like 3 weeks ago and said, Oscar Vazquez is coming to town. Wouldn't it be cool to do something with him? And I was just thinking you would have Oscar on the podcast. You were like, no. I've got this real cool idea. And I was like, oh my God, I'm all in. And so, Jake, it was such a pleasure. I shared this with you, meeting you, because there's so many people who talk about you. And
Don't believe any of that.
no, I'm gonna believe all of that shit. And then the other thing is, I remember being gifted 1146. I think I told you in 2014. Shout out
fantastic.
to Rene at Red Door Catering. I don't know if you know Rene over at Red Door Catering
Haven't
in
had the
Oakland.
pleasure, no.
She's amazing. But that was the gift. I used to be a lobbyist, so we used to manage AEG when they moved into the arena in the Coliseum. We actually helped them win the contract to do that. And so we would bring in different local caterers, and we brought her in to do some stuff in the private room that our clients were in, and that was her gift to say thank you. Because I sipped
Fantastic.
a
Wow.
yeah.
Coincidence.
So this is beautiful. I don't think anything happens by chance. I think everything is divinely appointed. Little did I know 11 years later I would meet the iconic Jake Lustig. So thank you.
We've got to choose another label, but thank you so much. Thank
No,
you.
iconic
Thank
is
you.
good.
Cheers to you.
No, and then last but not least, you meet people cross your path, and you know that you've stepped in greatness. And when I met Oscar in May of 22, did not know that I was meeting him. I was going to meet the legendary Felipe Camarena, who remains legendary. But I had the opportunity to cross paths and have a tasting with Oscar Vazquez Camarena. And I remembered leaving that day saying, if ever there was an opportunity for me to make juice with Oscar, I'll take it, because in the next 6 to 8 years, I won't be able to afford him. And so thank you for allowing me to make juice with you. Thank you for trusting me. And thank you for taking time. Really shout out to his wife. for
Putting up with him.
for allowing him to travel and hang out for the next 5 days.
Visa, so it's
So,
okay. The next time he's gonna be here.
She will be here, absolutely. But just want to say thank you. So for me, this is like the trifecta. And I've loved you from afar because you've known my family, and then you got a chance to know me when I literally sold my home to pay for the first production of tequila. So this is an honor for me to be here.
Yeah, Jake, you gotta like.
I'm all in, Jake.
I've seen a lot of things in my. I'm a realtor, by the way. That's what I do for a living. I've seen a lot of things in my 20 years of selling real estate, but I've never seen somebody that was like, I need to get rid of this property so that I can go into production. I'm like, wow. Oh shit, you're like really about your shit.
I needed to finish paying for production. We were in production, but I needed.
Okay, you need to finish. Like,
I need to
literally
send
took
wire
all
the
the
resources.
proceeds,
Yeah.
and I'm like, she's truly all in on this
All
shit.
in,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
It's the way you have to be.
I mean, what? So, real
And
quick,
Chris, you said it before the cameras are turned on, but in the years that I've known you few years now, I think you've really lived and put your effort out to build community, connect people. It's a wonderful thing.
thank you, man.
It's the best businessman. I just learned from the movie Layer Cake. I don't know if you've seen it, but
I haven't.
the best businessman is the one who connects other people.
Well, my grandpa told me, he goes, I remember he sat me down when I was like maybe like 11 or 12. He goes, I'm going to tell you the most simple thing that you're ever going to hear. There's going to be two ways that you're going to have success in whatever career path that you choose. You're going to do it with your hands, or you're going to do it with this. So you could just choose wisely whatever you want to choose. And I'll say that me being a connector, it's a passion thing for me that I love it. You know what I mean?
You love people.
I love people. I absolutely love people, and we can talk stories all day on just like,
Yes,
man, just I told him how I met Armando through obviously like going up
Armando.
to Oaxaca,
Armandito.
and I remember when
The
I was
brothers.
about to leave, like Kendra, my fiance, was like, oh, okay, babe, like, get it together. I was like crying. I'm like, I promise you that I'm gonna learn Spanish, and I'll be back here next year, and we're gonna figure out a way, man. I love you, bro.
for a big commemoration, a big celebration.
Yeah.
I understand, right?
Yes, yeah, for my wedding. So, so Melanie, let's start with you.
Yes.
Enelama. So, you just got your second batch of the Blanco.
No. So real quick, bring
Okay.
you up to speed. Last time I was here was May of 2024. We had launched our first production of Añejo, 350 cases. January of 2024, self-distributed, sold out. In September of 2024, was off the market for 2 months, came back with our second production. Oscar freaked me out.
Wait, this is the Blanco though.
This is the Blanco,
I
but
do
he
that
freaked
very
me
often.
out in a beautiful way. And what I've learned is you have to get out of your way because sometimes you can misstep, being in your head, thinking that you have to bring people what they loved, not understanding that you're taking them on a journey. And so every time I get to tell this story, and hopefully I do, I always say thank you for being so much smarter than me. That's the true test of brilliance, is having people smarter than you around you and listening to them. And so we launched our second production in December of 2024. We're about to do our third production next month because we're about to sell out of that. And now we have a high proof añejo that hits the market. Actually, we just finished bottling, labeling. CRT needs to come and give us the stamp of approval again. And then we should be here either the end of, we're at the end of July. So beginning of August, you'll be able to find us in stores, and we're going to be pre-selling. Several of our retail partners are pre-selling. So, and this is really special for me because this high proof añejo, 100 proof, 50% ABV, is based on our first production. It's been aged in American oak barrels since August of 2023. And just as a quick reminder, when I was reintroduced to tequila in 2011 at Mayuel, hello Ernesto, I sipped extra añejo for 10 years, things that I thought were just fabulous and iconic, you know, bottles that you look at on the shelf and you go, oh my God, I know what that looks like. I know what that is like. And so to be able to look and see your own añejo is incredible. So all at the hands of this brilliant man right here.
I love it.
Kudos.
That's
It's
nice.
exciting.
This is your turn, bro. So
my turn.
So
And just to understand you, that's gonna be like a 2-year añejo.
It is it like a little less than 2 years, right?
Right
Because
on.
we actually took it out of the bottles. What in May?
In May,
In
yes.
May is when we
Late
started.
in April.
Fantastic.
But we thought we were playing with it, right? So we're 50%. At first, we thought we were doing 53 because we loved it. But then it was like, okay, maybe we should dilute it just a little bit, but not too much. And my whole approach to juice, first of all, I call this juice in a bottle, but my whole approach is do something special and unique and beautiful. When I came to tequila, I sipped at the prestige level, and so I wanted to sell at the prestige level. And I figured if nobody purchased it, I'd have a lot of great juice to drink. But I
Good
want
fallback plan.
absolutely. But I wanted to. We don't have a reposado, Jake, and that's intentional because I love some really beautiful reposados out there. And until I think we can do something that complements those that are on the market, I always give a shout out to La Gratona. I love G4 reposado. Until we can, I love Cascaween reposado. Until we can do something like that, like a Tahona blend reposado. But
Got ideas, yes.
so it's beautiful to be able to do something in what you sipped and enjoyed and what really brought you back to tequila.
Sorry to pull the conversation.
No, you're good. So tell us a little bit, Oscar, just about, kind of echoing how you and Melanie met, and just kind of for the people that are listening to the podcast, give us your introduction on going into business with Melanie.
Okay, yes, for sure. Well, first than anything, thanks so much for the invitation. This is my first time in California, and it's a greatest opportunity to be here. So in this way, you know what I mean?
I do.
I never expected that the people is asking me in a good way, hey, are you interested to be in front of a podcast talking about your life? Come on, I am a very boring person. My life is not so important, but I will try. Why not? Because this life and these opportunities that God and the life give us is just to take it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, let me tell you this. It's very funny that right now I have two very beloved persons for me, that is Jake and Melanie. Because for some reason, God is giving to you the possibilities to be there in some point of your life. 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I never realized that I'm going to be here speaking with my good friend
Wow.
Jake and my good friend Melanie, introducing Enelama, one tequila that she has enough trust in my skills in order to produce some tequila, and also Jake as a part of his team. So I feel so humble and so honored for that, right? The path with Melanie. I know Melanie in 2022, right? May 2022. So a lot of people know where I was working before, that I am a free agent or something like that. I used to work for one of the most respected distilleries right now in the industry, in the world, in the tequila business.
Which is?
El Pandillo.
Yep.
I used to be the chemist of El Pandillo for almost 12 years of my life, because I am not a master distiller. So, well, in some point.
You are now.
Oh, well. It's because, at least for me, the master is a big name. But I am a chemist. Anyway, I'm a chemist. As a chemist, I have some ideas in order to control productions or flavors. But at the end of the day, trust me, produce tequila, it's a very weird mix or a blend between science and art, for sure, because it's very perspective. So when I finish at El Pandillo, with my time at El Pandillo finish, I start to make a lot of calls to my friends, to the people that I know in my time there. And one of the first really person that I make a call was Melanie. Melanie, I am available right now, right? I have nothing. I have not my own distillery. I am not running my own distillery. I have just the idea and the opportunity. Are you in? If you feel that you have enough skills to go beyond, I am in. Then I start a relationship with Melanie, looking for some different distilleries. So all the time that I spend at El Pandillo, for me, helps a lot in order to make a really, really strong relationships with the industry. Because this industry is so small that when you are making good things, the people know immediately. When you are making bad things, the people know immediately. So it's something weird to understand that at the end of the day, it's a very, very small industry. And all the people know the people, right? So Melanie decided to believe in my idea, in my vision in order to produce some tequilas. Then I was looking for Peña Blanca, the NOM 1639, which is one of newest distilleries right now in Jalisco, in Jesus Maria. And then we go as talking with the owner, talking about the idea, the possibility, right, in order to make a new tequila brand. And right now you can see Enelama, right? So at the end of the day, it's just, for sure, I always listen to people talking about the ideas of the production of the tequila, or the flavors, of the quality of, because every person has a very specific profile, or a specific taste, or a specific flavor, like the tequila should be, you know what I mean? And then, as an chemist or as a tequila producer, we need to try to get that experience and try to make it something real, and something that you can drink it. So when the people give the responsibility or the opportunity, I like to use better the word opportunities, it's then a good idea in order to express another vision, another idea, right? So for the good or for the bad, if you like it in El Alma or the tequilas that I am producing, it's because at the end of the day, I have the responsibility to take the decisions, right? If you like it, it's for the effort team, because it's not just me. There is a lot of people behind on me, supporting me and working in the distilleries, following my ideas. And if you don't like the tequila, it is my fault, because I have the decision in order to make something different.
I mean, it sounds like this is like a make or break. This can make or break you. I mean, you're taking a risk on Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to refute this history. I need to clean this shit up a little bit. Because my version of our introduction is slightly different. I met Oscar in May of 22. Did not, pop it like a, just pop it like a champagne cork. And I did not know that Oscar was going to be a part of the conversation. I was so excited to meet the great Felipe Camarena and had the opportunity to spend great time with him. Connected me with Oscar. Oscar took me through a tasting. And I remember vividly, that's the first one.
So that's her first batch.
That was the first batch.
Wow.
That is what the high proof añejo. That's what's been aged. Thank you.
What a compliment, man.
Really, it's got that old classic kind of mentholated balm on your lips from that agave vegetable fat still being intact.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to get you some?
I would love that.
Okay.
I would love that. And so I remember leaving, and Val Sacedo can affirm this, but I remember leaving saying to her, and she was my level 2 tequila som, who really, shout out to her, because she introduced me to Oscar and everyone else. And I remembered leaving saying to her, if ever he became a free agent, I would love to work with him. I'm a Black woman who came to tequila. I don't lead with that, but that's who I am. And so I spent a year, and Jake, I don't know if you know this, 2020, I decided to leave politics and lobbying. Sold everything that I had except for the home I was living in, because I needed to do deep knowledge and I wanted to be self-funded. So I was self-funded for the first 2 years. 2021 went deep into Jalisco, learning everything that I could. 2022, we assembled all of the assets on this bottle. Everything on this bottle is curated by either a woman, person of color, small, local, or family generational business in the US or Mexico. 2023, we came together. 2024 is when we launched. And so when I met him, I knew I didn't want an elf on the shelf experience. No
This is
disrespect,
exemplary.
but thank you.
This is really next level.
And no disrespect to brands that do that, because there are distilleries that say, hey, here are 2 or 3 profiles, choose. Hey, here are 2 or 3 bottles, choose. There are 2 or 3. I I feel like I use the analogy that tequila to me is like shoes. Some people wear low tops, some people wear heels, some people have their heels out, some people wear stilettos, some people wear high end, low end. You have to have the
Socks with
preference.
Birkenstocks.
Absolutely. We did at
I wouldn't
UCLA.
mind sockless,
I
but
saw you, Chris.
But it's all about a preference, right? So I would never disrespect anyone's preference, but I knew that I wanted my own chef in the kitchen and I wanted to be able to go to anyone's. I wanted to be in a kitchen that wanted me there and I wanted to choose the kitchen. And so when I found out that Oscar was on his own and had become a free agent, that's how we connected. And it was not a sell. It was a, oh my God, are you really in these streets by yourself? And I'd be honored if you took leadership over the juice. And this is my vision. I want a brand that amplifies culture. I want to celebrate the rich heritage, legacy, and tradition between indigenous and African American culture. We were both enslaved on our own land and overcome historic adversity. And I wanted to tell that story in a bottle. And can you do that?
But again, I need to express that. So in that point, imagine this for me. So I am speaking since my side. So 3 years ago, right now it's very common that the people go with the secure option. You know what I mean? Because yes, maybe I was too much time in a lab or in a distillery learning to make some tequilas and also giving my own ideas and my own opinion in order the production, in order the taste of the tequila. But come on, 2 years ago, I was in the street. I was nothing. You know what I mean?
You were always something. You may not have known that, but we're always something. And I think sometimes when we have skill and talent, we don't understand our own worth and our value.
The only thing that I have to offer, like right now and 2 years ago, was my name. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
my name. And it's, sorry if I am a little bit emotional and I start to cry, but it is real. So the people who know me, like Jake, because it was almost the same story 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Maybe Melanie was the first person and the second was maybe Jake. He also offered me a job, you know what I mean, in order to support my family. So I am talking about something very, very
very deep and personal.
Very
well,
deep.
you just made me think of it too, and I want to, as I'm listening to
Real knows real.
as I'm listening to both their stories, it truly does make me think of your story that I want you to touch on in a second. Just so the people listening to this podcast, and maybe even Melly doesn't know your story. But how amazing does it feel when somebody believes in you, when somebody hires you? Like, I've been self-employed for 20 years, and you look back to the lineage, and it's always, for me at least, it's always like, man, when I met this person, and then that person linked me up with this person, and what I learned and what I experienced, and it doesn't just have to be in business, but it can just be something special in life, like my story when I went to Oaxaca. The first person I reached out to obviously was Jake, and Jake introduced me to his long time friend David. And I'm telling you, Kendra and I still talk about this, but just that one connection changed our entire trip.
David Sanchez Lopez.
David, man, this dude was one of the sweetest human beings that I had ever met. And
I've never heard him described like that. But.
Well, you probably used to party with him, so this is
Come on.
Oh man. So anyways, thank you for just for sharing that, because the way that you described it to me, I'm I think I'm looking at you and Melanie, and I'm looking at a really good partnership, because what I see in Melanie, I can see in her eyes. She's been around in the business world. I think when she sees talent and she knows talent, it's undisputed, and I'm sure it's a good feeling for you to have this. And then
for sure.
And then for secondly too, you're a young buck. You're 37 years old?
37, yes, actually.
And this is going to be a very special moment when you get old and crusty like this guy, right? Amen?
It hurts.
No, but when
Drinking enough tequila and you preserve very young.
one
Doesn't
thing
seem to be working for the knees.
one thing that we know is father time, but I'm just saying, as you get older and progress, and you continue with the different brands, and you're able to look back on these moments, for you guys. It's going to be special because you're going to look back at what you guys created together. And, that makes me want to just kind of like pick your brain for a quick second, Jake. As you're hearing their story, does it like kind of put you into this time warp and make you kind of reminisce to when you were 18, 19, living in Mexico, and like how it all started for you? Like, what does it do to like do, for a guy that's been in this spirit world for a long time?
The difference essentially was that I didn't have any vision of the next step. It was just completely haphazard. I found myself working with David Sanchez Lopez, and taking tourists out to pottery villages, rug weaving villages, wood carving villages, and took a couple to a Mezcal distillery, and they were inebriated and tipped $300. And I sat at the edge of my bed looking at these three $100 bills right when the peso had slipped tremendously, huge devaluation in 1993. We had the Zapatista rebellion in Subcomandante Marcos in Chiapas, just right there. Everything really felt hopeless. NAFTA had passed. And so Monsanto and Simplot corn from Nebraska and Kansas with very little nutritional value was underselling even Oaxacan farmers' corn in local markets and causing a economic hurricane that basically had sent most young men to work in the tobacco fields of North Carolina or Chicago factories or Salinas lettuce fields. And everything just seemed like it just wasn't working. And I was in the middle of that with no money and an old beat up truck. And realizing David could do what he had always done and invited me into it, of getting tourists out to these pottery villages and rug weaving villages and so on. And then I would focus on distillery tours. And it fascinated me. I did the groundwork for somebody who hired me to build a brand for them, and then was kind of succinctly fired as soon as I got that kind of off the ground, because that person felt that they had a Spanish-speaking employees here in California that could get the job done without anyone boots on the ground in Oaxaca, which essentially meant that that brand has never been seen in the United States. I mean, it didn't work. But it turned out I was only seemingly capable of one thing, which was how to sell mezcal, like make mezcal and get it licensed. And that just plopped me on the streets back on International Boulevard, East 14th, in Oakland, literally door to door.
What year was this?
Yeah, I want to know, like
1995 was my first export.
So how
You're
old?
selling I'm sorry, you're selling mezcal in 1990.
Yeah.
I mean, mezcal has this. People love mezcal now, but you're on the streets. I call
Where's
it
where's the worm? What's going
Hold
on?
on.
I call it hand-to-hand
Yeah.
combat, right?
Real quick.
And I was just
95. How old were you approximately?
23.
Yeah, and real quick, I just want to say this real quick.
95. I had just graduated from UCLA. I was 22.
Maybe Jake will chime in on this, but like when you say people love mezcal now, I don't even think I'd go that far. Like I still think it's a slow burn.
But it was like really.
It was.
I was just
really
relating this yesterday to my son. Went over lunch down in the Bay. We're in Sacramento here. That I literally remember, most days going out there, pouring people, whether they had licenses or not, like the carnicerias where people would change their checks and stuff. Literally pouring them, convincing them to take like 2 or 3 bottles, but wouldn't pay me. I had to come back once they sold them.
Oh my gosh,
I remember when my children's mother just insisted that today you've got to bring home $200 or $140, and that was at $20 a bottle, 7 bottles, and how to go get that, and just really sweating it.
Yeah.
You know, figuring out a way to get the
love
Oakland
this.
Tribune. My brother Kwasi always laughs at me about this, but how to like set it up right in this little teeny green part of a defunct garden in a housing complex area, to sit there with just like birds of paradise, the one bird of paradise plant, you know, and present that we were like in a tropical environment.
Oh my
to take one picture of it, the mezcal, and put it in the Oakland Tribune.
Do you have a book coming?
No.
But you realize
Because
this
the
is
story falls off quickly from there
no,
on.
but Jake, I mean, not to interrupt you, but you realize you have history. People think that you are going to make tequila and just hit it, and they don't understand. You were talking about the highs and lows, and so when you were talking about moving through East Oakland, I call it hand-to-hand combat. I still do hand-to-hand combat today. I literally
We say that a lot in Spanish. We call it en las trincheras. Estamos en las trincheras. It means in the trenches.
Yes.
Like warfare in the trenches.
My weight is in the, I call it, I have weight in the back of my car, right? I remember someone saying, "You're the owner, you can't deliver juice." Fuck yeah, I can deliver juice. Sorry. I was a lobbyist for 20 years. My mouth is really foul.
You're good.
Sorry, Mom. But I there's nothing we don't do. And so I'm sitting here like, oh my God, you've got to put that story somewhere so people understand that you just don't wake up one morning and have 7 brands and have legacy and impact in the way that you do. It is the work that you put in 30 years ago that allows you to be where you are. And something tells me, I just met you. You still have so much more to do and accomplish, but your story
God
has to be
bless.
told for others.
Well, we're here to talk about your story.
No, but I mean, we're here to talk about our story, right?
But I was just trying to make the point that I never like had a vision or an idea to go do something like that, like you have, and that's beautiful and wonderful and admirable. Mine was really born out of like just very much necessity.
Love that.
Can I just ask you a quick question? Sorry to interrupt you, but part of your story, because I've heard it a couple times now, is when you were staring at the $300 bill. Like, do you think, like, looking back at that time that you were just like fully just like encouraged to make money, or did you think?
Okay, I was telling this yesterday to a guy who just took over. That sounds too aggressive. They just passed the title of a great spot in Berkeley on San Pablo, called San Pizzi, San Pablo, that was called El Patio, and the Middle East market right next door just like expanded into that space, and they're gonna have their own bar and restaurant there. And the young buck, Amir, was interested to know my story because he had heard about me. And I was explaining to him that I started cleaning parking lots at 8 years old for litter, picking for $2. I was sweeping carports, the gravel back into when cars pull out of a carport for 25 cents. 25 cents was my magic number. I was returning shopping carts from all over the place because they didn't have the like automatic wheel lock, so people would literally walk their shopping cart all the way to their home and leave it in the sidewalk and bring their groceries in. And the stores paid us 25 cents a piece to return shopping carts. By about 12, I was already, I could say, hustling, like with some determination. So it's not romantic, but yeah.
So
it was about making money.
So you just answered my story. So the difference in the two, if I'm speaking, not saying that you, I mean, I hope that you're gonna flourish and make some good money in this because you are all chips in. You're like you're at the freaking craps table and it is all chips in, and I think that you will because this juice that you're making is exceptional. But I think maybe like the difference when I hear your story, Melanie, is you were already deep into your lobby career.
I mean,
this tequila stuff for you, correct me if I'm wrong, was it was your kind of like, you probably just had like a long, busy work day, and it was your sanctuary of kind of letting loose and enjoying and
No.
sipping a good tequila. No,
no,
No.
no, no,
I'm
no,
not
no,
hearing-
no. I lost 20.
I'm hearing there was determination.
I lost 90% of my lobbying firm in 90 days. Now, when I was reintroduced to juice in 2011, I did not know that tequila. It's interesting that our name is Enelama, in the soul, but because it captured my soul in 2011, I was drinking what I thought was premier juice, right? And I had no idea that my livelihood would come from juice. 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic, I lost 90% of my business within a 90-day window, right? Because we're professional sports, stadiums and arenas, food and beverage and operators in airports. We did a little tech. Thank God for non-alcoholic beverages. So when your life is upended, and I lived a comfortable life, right? And you know my family history in terms of my roots here in Sacramento, my life was upended. But I had always had this love for tequila, and I remembered thinking at different iterations I wanted to be a solution for my clients and would learn more but wouldn't go too deep. And then when you find, I was staring at 50. I was turning 50 in 2022. Here it was 2020. And after I stopped crying and realized you've got to figure out if lobbying is, and my father was a mayor and my family was deep in politics here. And it was like, do you stay with what you've known or do you let it go? So when I let it go and went all in the first time, right, it was because I knew that I had done all that I could do. I was disgusted by politics. I've never used the word disgusted in terms of politics ever before publicly, but I was disgusted. I think 2014, I was just tired and exhausted. You are a connector, and I spent my career fixing, building, and connecting, and I was like, there's gotta be something else. And I knew there was something else. So that's when I got the executive coach. I got an executive coach. I hadn't had one since I was a corporate exec in 2007. And it was through the executive coach that she was like, damn it.
Give her some props. Who was that?
Oh my God. Sarah, you're going to kill me because I'm not going to say your last name right now. But
You'll
it's
come
gonna
back
hit
to
me.
it. But
But
that's-
Sarah was
that's
wonderful.
to hear.
And the crazy thing though, Jake, is my first couple of sessions with Sarah, I cried. And she was like, hey, I am not a therapist. I am a coach. Right? She was like, if you need a therapist, we'll find one. But you say you want to do some real work in your life, and I'm here to do it. And so that is how I moved. And it was through working with Sarah. I remember, and then there was one assignment where I had to pull everything together, our final assignment. And in that's where tequila was at the top of the list. And I was like, oh shit, I'm about to go make some tequila. Mm-hmm. Like live or die, everything I've done in the last 25 years, I'm going to go all in. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, and I remember vividly going to my parents in September of 2022, because I started this journey and I did it quietly. I didn't tell anybody anything. And I remembered sitting with them at Camden on my dad's birthday.
I want to hear that reaction.
Saying, oh shit, you know what? No, I'm not lobbying anymore. Like I've shut down the lobbying firm and I'm about to make tequila.
By the way, just to
This is just
it's crazy, but
this
hey,
is crazy.
Jake,
crazy
real quick, she's telling her story. I gotta give just a little bit of insight on the Shelby family. The entire family is like just uber successful.
God bless.
Her brother,
God bless.
I still have not met him.
My older brother, Marcus.
Marcus is a famous jazz musician who I believe lives in Oakland, or am I wrong?
He lives in San Francisco. He
Okay.
gets his locks twisted in Oakland. But he's got a 17-piece jazz orchestra, the Marcus Shelby Jazz Orchestra, and he's the artistic director of the Hillsburg Jazz Festival, and he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's a rock star.
I met her mom and dad years ago. Her other brother, James Shelby, is a longtime client of mine.
And friend.
Just uber connected. So I could almost, I wish I could.
You thought he was the coolest Shelby until you met me.
So how many siblings do you have?
There are three of us. I'm the only girl and I'm in the middle. We're all 6 years apart.
Yep.
So
the family.
imagine walking, sitting at dinner celebrating your dad's birthday going, I'm done with politics. I want to make tequila. He was like, I thought he was going to be like, what? He was the one that was like, I never got to take risks in life. I had you kids and I wanted to give you more than what I had. And so if you fail, we're always here for you. That was
That's what's up.
mind blowing
Wow.
to
Yeah.
me.
Jake, I'm guessing your story's probably just a little different in that
Yeah,
regard.
It's a beautiful story.
Because you've kind of been, I know a little bit, just we'll call it private
very different,
backstory
very
on
different
Jake, but
story.
like, I feel like you're just always just been fighting just to survive on your own. Would you agree with that?
Well, no. I mean, born white, male, tall in Northern California.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a few steps, from the finish line. As they say, while a lot of people are having to take 15 steps to get there.
Okay, humble,
So-
very humble. I get it. I get it.
I can't pretend like Oliver Twist over here.
I played Oliver in Oliver Twist at the Sacramento Children's Theater. Yeah.
Well, I can't play that role.
That was years ago.
I would just feel very blessed and very grateful. A lot of.
Were you born
lot
and
of
raised in
opportunity.
Oakland?
I was born in San Francisco
Ah,
on Parnassus.
okay.
On UCSF for $1, as I used to hear, was the copay. $1 copay in 1972.
You're a 72 baby.
I
Me
am.
too. When's your birthday?
February.
September 6th.
Uh-huh.
You're an Aquarius.
Pisces.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what the difference is, but
February the
one
what?
starts with a P and one an A.
Uh,
But
Oh.
I mean, I can't dramatize the situation. It was just, there was no extra. I can definitely say that.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing extra.
So real quick before I'm going to ask this question,
50 cents
and then I'm gonna,
allowance. It's like,
and then I'm going to pour us some of this añejo that I've just been staring at, and we're going to taste these beautiful,
hear something about this Blanco.
incredible spirits. But approximately how many years, when you were painting that picture, when you saw the $300 that you got as tip, you were like 18 years old approximately.
no, I was 20.
Okay, 20. How long did it take you until you found, okay, this is the distiller, this is the master distiller that I want to go into business with, that ultimately
3
became
years.
Don Amado. So it took about 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that I have said, and I can't wait to look you in the eyes on this because I wanted to say this down the stairs. And I swear to you, I'm not just saying this, but I feel like the difference in the mezcal world and the tequila world, and it was until I tried Don Amado,
Mm-hmm.
all of the, like a majority of the mezcals that I tasted before Don Amado, I didn't really like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of shitty mezcal being made.
That was the fruit of the labor of those 3 years for me.
Yeah.
Because I ultimately got to 86 different distilleries, and I lost boxes of notes and papers that I just recently refound when extracting those kinds of things from the basement of my late father's house, cleaning that place up, and I've just left that box in the middle, among other boxes there, in the middle of my living room, reviewing those notes at night. This really takes me back.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That once I had good penmanship.
So Oscar, on that, I'm going to be selfish right now. This is going to be a weird question, but I want to ask
Just go.
ask it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's harder to make a good mezcal than it is to make a good tequila? I mean,
Whoa, that's a question.
That-
Because my man has made both.
Exactly. Well, what are you meaning with good?
so let me just give you what I mean by that. In my experience, my young experience drinking
It's a
mezcal.
subjective question asked to an objective scientist, chemist.
So a lot of the mezcal that I've had leading up to Don Amado
Uh-huh.
was like overly smoky. It wasn't really what I'd consider smooth. if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a good word.
Or balance.
Or balanced, or
Balanced is a better word.
and
Just smooth as a texture.
so does that help answer your question? So
Maybe.
okay, I also feel like in the tequila.
How long have you been drinking mezcal? I don't know anything about mezcal, so this is just.
So
an open
I've only
question.
been drinking mezcal for almost about as long as I've known Jake, really, because how it all worked out was Weston Ramirez. Weston Ramirez had me over to his house, who's now a very good, like I consider him a brother,
Okay.
and he had a bottle of his Don Amado, and I tasted it, and I'm like, bro, this is incredible.
Okay.
I hate mezcal.
Mm-hmm.
I love whatever I'm drinking right now,
Interesting.
and then I don't know, 3 or 4 months later, it's like 4th of July. This dude comes up with a bottle, and I was like, I didn't know who he was, and I was like, "Hey, bro, you're drinking the mezcal that I like." And he's like, "Yeah, motherfucker, I make this shit."
I was the owner.
I don't
Mic
know.
drop.
I guess what I'm saying is there's a bigger market, I think, for tequila than there is mezcal.
Right now, yes.
Okay.
Right now.
And so I think you're gonna be by chance you're gonna have a better chance stumbling on better tequila options than you're gonna have stumbling upon better mezcal options. I don't know if I'm explaining myself. Am I wrong on this? Say if I'm wrong.
You're right up to that point.
Okay.
but I would disagree on that last
Okay.
point.
Okay.
There are
So
plentiful, really good mezcal options.
okay. Okay.
Well, this is my answer and my opinion. Mostly my opinion than my answer. Since the point of view about the science, the chemistry, for example, all the Mexican distillates, tequila blanco, mezcal, sotol, bacanora, has the particularity to, in a bottle of tequila, in a bottle of blanco, you can find a lot of aromas, a lot of flavors, a lot of complexity, which you cannot find in another liquors, right? So if you can realize a little bit, for example, tequila blanco, mezcal blanco, sotol, bacanora, has its own particularity.
Raicilla.
Okay, raicilla, that right now it's very phenomenal also. So all these
Esteban Morales.
distillates came from the agaves from Mexico. Till here, it's easy to understand, right? This is my point. According by the science, the perfect level of methanol, for example, is 200 parts per million. Why I am talking about the methanol? Because methanol is one of the alcohols that is produced in the fermentation process, and then it's extracted in the distillation process, right? We need to understand that in the old fermentations from the agave, we can find 16, 17, 18 different kinds of alcohols. It's not just methanol or not just ethanol. It's a lot of complexity, a lot of alcohols inside. So since the point of view of the chemistry, maybe random number, the perfect amount for your body is 200 parts per million of methanol. Why methanol? Methanol is some alcohol that when you are drinking too much, some liquors with too much methanol, at the next day, it's very often that you have headache, hangover, dizzy, feel bad, right? But you cannot remove all the methanol because the methanol is something sweet and it's something natural and it's produced in the fermentation process, right? According by the experience or according by the masters, maybe the perfect level is not 200. Why not 200? Because 200 is too smooth, or is too flat, or is too something that has not his own complexity. And then is when your passion or your understanding, okay, we need more methanol. Maybe it's not 200, maybe it's 290.
By the way, real quick, just so I can wrap my head around this, this methanol does it come from the agave plant?
Yes.
Okay.
It's something natural. It's
Okay.
something that we are getting in the natural way from the fermentation process, right? So they're not actually, according to the Mexican law, not just for the tequila, also for mezcales, for raicilla, for all the Mexican distillates, we need to check it and we need to control it. The minimum is 30 in the tequila. The minimum is 30 parts per million. The
300.
maximum is 300 parts per million. You know your homework, amigo. So the minimum and the maximums, if you understand a little bit the numbers, the minimum is 30, the maximum is 300. So there is not a range. At the end of the day, there is another perfect range. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then is when you try to mix a little bit the science and your own opinion in order to decide how much methanol you need to release in the tequila in order to keep or in order to get a good balance or a good something. It's the same in mezcals. It's the same in raisillas. It's the same in the Mexican distillates. This is my answer.
Perfect. Great answer.
Just
Killed it.
literally
Yeah.
confused the shit out of me. But I
I
track.
think you killed
I
it,
know.
Oscar.
Yeah,
Because what Oscar's trying to say is as you're distilling, you're getting spectrums, bands of esters. And all of those have a different effect and flavor and spin. So whether you're getting a more like tropical note, or whether you're getting a more grassy note, or whether you're getting a more buttery note, those are actually different cuts in a distillation.
Real quick,
And-
what's
and
har-
also-
what's I just want to ask this because now I'm getting
No,
jacked
go ahead.
up.
Go ahead.
What's harder to make, in your opinion, an exceptional blanco or an exceptional añejo? What's harder?
Blanco.
Okay,
No doubts for me.
would you agree on that?
For me,
Yes,
there is no
of
doubts.
course. Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
Why?
talk about that.
Yes, why Blanco? Because Blanco is the real expression of the Mexican distillate, right? I respect a lot, and to be really honest with my clients, my partners, with my friends, with all the people, I am really, really focused in the Blanco production. Why? Because that's the base, right? For Enelama, for all the ArteNOMs, we are using exceptional barrels that make the homework more easy, right? Why? Because you have a very solid very solid base, right? Reposados, añejos, extra añejos. So all the tequila that you can put into a barrels and looking for something very specific and very different, it's in your idea, in your opinion. Now is my another answer. Maybe you can drink several brands of tequila for too many years, just drinking, and you never fall in love in tequilas. One day, you drink one brand of mezcal, and then you fall in love in mezcal. Why? Because in that specific flavor, brand, or mezcal, you found your perfect balance in your mind. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? It's the same with tequilas. So the perfect tequila in the real world doesn't exist. It exists just in your mind. Then for that reason, you are trying several brands, trying to approach a little bit to that tequila or that brand that you have in your mind.
He's a smooth
I
criminal,
mean, he's just
bro.
so right on the money because
He
a
is
lot
a
of that's informed by the foods you ate growing up,
Absolutely.
the smells you were around growing up. That informs our brain of
Exactly.
what's familiar,
What we
what's
like, what we
foreign,
don't
what we
like.
what's comforting.
You know one thing?
I think-
you
just
three,
killed it.
You three
Wow.
have very similar taste buds.
I would say this too, though, and this is something that Clayton
Yes, I agree.
said to
Say-
me
hey,
back in
Clayton.
2017 when I did my first tequila experience with him, is that Blanco is the window to the soul of tequila. And I didn't understand it then because I was an extra añejo sipper.
Yes, please. Yeah.
And now I
Let
get
me-
it because now I start with Blanco.
Thank you, amigo.
And so if you love a Blanco, you're going to love the journey of the Reposado, Añejo, Extra Añejo, even the Joven, right? Because that is the base. And that is the most honest expression of that agave.
Exactly.
You can't hide shit in the Blanco, right?
Exactly. Yes.
I just really can't get over how sublime that Blanco is.
That's a big. Hey, he said this 3 times.
First of all, coming from
It's just
Jake Lustig,
outstanding.
thank you. That's him, though.
It
That
has
is
a
all
it has
him.
a note that I
No,
haven't
no.
tasted in a
It's not my
long
idea.
time
It's
of this kind of density and just such rich botanical character.
Coming from you, I really, really
Oh, it's just
appreciate your.
fantastic.
You know,
Your
Jake,
opinion.
it's
I
it-
really
really
remember in
appreciate
that late 90s, early like aught decade, the first of the 2000s, when tequilas really tasted often like that.
Okay.
And if you pursed your lips and breathed slowly out, you felt this just wonderful kind of mentholated on the lower lip. And I used to look for that. I used to just love that.
In
And
2000s, I have 12 years old.
what a
shit in
stellar job you've
2000s.
done.
I was
Kudos to
marrying
you
somebody
guys.
I would
Kudos to
divorce.
both of you.
No,
let me
thanks so
say
much,
this
Jake.
to you though, Jake. What's interesting is I remember the first time we went to Peña Blanca. And, you know, I'm a girl who grew up at her dad's hip until I was about 14. I thought he was the coolest person that I knew.
That's cool.
And that's why I loved politics, because he was so instrumental in politics here in Sacramento County. But I remember going and I remember tasting just kind of their base juice. And it was like, how do you produce this? And this is not, no one's labeled. This is just what you produce at this distillery and no one knows you. And I thought to myself, if this is just your base juice, imagine bringing someone in who understands chemistry and understands fermentation in a way that can manipulate and extract what you're trying to articulate and the story that you're trying to tell. And I think that's for me, I thought I was drinking prestige juice, right, for 10 years. And to have my bubble blown realizing that what I was drinking didn't even register, because I didn't even know what additive-free expressions were until 2021. And to now be in this space and realize water matters, mature agave matters, soil matters. And it's like, how do you bring others along on this journey of discovery? And you've been on this journey for quite some time. I guess if I could ask a question, my question to you is twofold. Where do you feel like we are today? And what's missing? Because you've been in this space for quite some time and you understand trends and fads. And so you understand when things come on board and when they dissipate. But in your opinion, like, how do you feel about the state of our industry today? And then what do you feel like is missing? And that's a loaded question.
Well, I learned to take a stab at it. It wasn't too long before I learned there's a lot of great products and there are a lot of great outlets to sell them to the public, whether that's restaurants, bars, liquor stores. It's all about actually effective routes to market, and how in the world can you get great products to great stores and restaurants and bars efficiently and effectively and consistently. So that's really, in the whole thing, what's most complicated in my mind. And
So are you
we're
telling me you're about
seeing
to be a
huge
distributor?
turmoil in that.
Are you about to be a distributor?
No. No. I sell to distributors.
I know, but we need someone good.
Well, that's just the thing. It's very challenging to be a distributor because you have to carry inventories that, as you know, are quickly in the millions, many millions. You have to have trucking fleets, salespeople, methods. And when you're a producer, you're trying to get your product at an achievable price for the public to check it out and enjoy it. And so the hope of our distributor proselytizing your message out there and then doing fulfillment and then doing collections, it's a big, complicated role and job. And we tend to not really want to let them make too much money. Like in this industry, we try to hold them to around 25, 30 points. But we ask a lot of them. And the way that they can survive is to have a lot of brands. But that diminishes their capacity to go out there and do effective sales work for us. So the challenge is being pushed back onto the producer to actually go work in the streets, do the work that you're doing. And that becomes complicated on a scalability issue. So at the end of the day, where we are is in this push and pull between how much can each person or each level of the chain work to their most efficient, best kind of return on their time and their investment, all the way from the producer to the brand owner, to the exporter, to the importer, to the distributor. I don't look forward to seeing the demise of the 3-tier system, because we need that middle tier. It's very essential. But it's really difficult to figure out how to afford them their proper margin in the whole thing, so that your product can be accessible on the shelf and you still have energy and resources to put into getting it out there. That for me is like, sorry for the long explanation, but that's the crux of the issue, you know.
I don't have a challenge with the 3-tier system. We self-distribute because within the 3-tier system, there is this delineation between people who sell a lot of cases and people who don't. And for a person who sells Blanco at $100 a bottle, you know, I have folks who are still trying to wrap their arms around that, right? And so the way that I prove that we can do that in the 3-tier system is by selling 3,000 bottles of Blanco on our own.
Right.
And with the retreat of the second largest distributor in the state of California leaving, I know the big brands are going to be okay. I always wonder, and I sit on the craft advisory board now for Discus. I'm a lobbyist, so when I came to the industry, the first thing I did was look for.
Impressive.
I sit with Women of
That's
Divine
the
and Spirits.
Spirits Council of
Yes.
the United States.
And I'm a lobbyist, so I came to the industry and I was like, you don't know anything, find the people who do, and got connected with Chris Swanger very early on and still very connected. And it's important to support the organizations that support you. But the other piece of that is, how do we help distributors? And we participated with WSWA this year in Denver. But how do we introduce craft, small
That's the Wine and
brands?
Spirits Wholesalers of America.
Yes, thank you. But how do we introduce small craft brands to distributors in a way where, you know, distributors have so much on their plate? They are logistics. And how do we introduce smaller brands to distributors in a way where smaller brands are attractive and they understand the niche that you provide and present as it relates to the portfolio?
I want to be able to.
That's really it.
Yeah.
That's really it. And by the way, unapologetic about 3,000 cases or bottles or whatever it is that Enrique Fonseca of Tequilania, who's a big fan of yours, Oscar,
And yours.
convinced me years ago that if you can have fewer trucks on the road using less gasoline, the better.
We gotta love our environment.
You know, I mean, if you could get a higher price and do that work, and with the products that you have, I'm sure the awards are coming.
It's tough though. I mean, we won a double gold from Agavos Awards for our second
Great.
production.
That's Grover
him.
Sansigran.
That is
Scarlet.
him. Absolutely.
Fantastic. TequilaTastemaker.com. Perfect.
I want to say that several of Oscar's brands won double gold.
is not
Actually,
easy.
yeah.
Yeah. No.
Kudos
We
to
were
you.
very proud, sir. Very
Wow.
proud.
God bless
I feel so honored and so.
How many of your
grateful.
brands won double gold?
Four from
And
5.
for those out there
and
who
the
in
one
radio land who don't know, this is 2022 blind tasters. They're not blind,
Yes.
but the tasting is blind.
Industry
I hope that they are
industry
not
at
blind.
26
in
industry experts.
exactly in their laboratory smocks, drinking from unlabeled
400
beakers.
plus agave spirits.
There's no
That's-
way to buy the judge there. You know, I
That's,
mean, it's
that's my point of 5
completely
minutes ago, right?
kosher.
When you try to offer something that, in your own opinion, is something enough good in order to make something affordable, good, balanced, quality, or whatever you want for the public, for the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for that reason, talking about mezcals, raicilla, tequila. So everything, all the production has his own problems and has his own particularities in order to try to understand and in some point solve, right? So since that's, I do believe that that's my experience, so that's my idea. I am Jake no, Melanie's no. When we are the distilleries, I am not trying to discover something hide between the lines. You know what I mean? It's something very easy to understand. That did you follow uh, the good steps for say something, then you have at the end of the day a very good point in order to get an equilibrium, in order to get some a good number. Maybe your question or your answer, I do understand as a number. In some point, the number it's helping a lot. You know what I mean? In some point, the numbers it's helping to you in order to make some growth, more affordable, more price, more. So the number at the end of the day is the number, right?
Real quick, the first thing that I wanted to ask before it leaves my brain, then we want to get into talk. I want you to talk about this añejo because I've never had a high proof añejo, so this is like blowing my hair back. This is amazing. It tastes great. My question is this: so when I poured Jake your Enelama, the batch 2, it was like, oh, this is great. When I poured him the first
one.
batch, it was like, whoa, like it was really cool getting to see you and your expressions on that. So it's Enelama, it's the same bottle, and I kind of want you to touch on, and maybe all three of you guys can touch on this, but every time you go to production, there's a possibility that it's not going to be the exact.
You never step in the same river twice.
Exactly.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
So can you touch on that? Can you talk
Yeah,
on that a
for
little
sure.
bit?
So, and again, this is my answer and my opinion, right? All the things that I share with you is just my opinion. At the end of the day, again, I am not
Oscar,
nobody.
this is being recorded.
I know. For that reason,
I feel like Oscar's about to run for office. He sounds like a
Yes.
politician. This is my opinion.
Yes.
I
is
love
all
it,
my
bro.
opinion.
Hey, he's in
Man.
California right now.
He
He's like,
is.
everything.
Maybe you are not agree with me, but, but I don't care. I'm kidding.
we're family. You invited me
No.
over for dinner.
Yes, yeah, for sure. No, again, we are talking about your own perspective about the tequila productions, right? So something that I need to, I consider that for myself, right, as a tequila consumer, because at the end of the day, I am not a tequila master or tequila producer. When I am in my house with my wife, sharing some tequilas that I just produce, I really like to enjoy the tequila that I have in front of me. I am not talking about the brands. I am not talking about the cost. I am not talking about the bottle. I am just talking about feel proud that I am helping to produce something good for the people,
What a
right?
master.
Because behind of me, again, there is a lot of people who is supporting his families, thanks to the tequila, for example. So, I lose.
You said everything right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, it's.
I mean, so well said. So much
It was
respect to
very
you.
well said.
I mean, how I took that, and maybe this is the wrong way, but like, I took that as you're pouring your heart and soul into the
Yes.
production of what you're making, and you're not necessarily concentrating on making sure that this production is going to be the exact same
Because
as
they're
the-
artisanal
Exactly,
spirits and
right.
conditions change.
Right.
And I am
okay.
talking about the numbers, right? So for these brands, for example, they are. Sorry, well, not sorry.
Don't apologize.
You know that
This is
right
your
now.
truth.
Exactly. Right now, for example, according to Tequila Matchmaker app, there is right now 3,615 brands active in the United States. 3,600 brands, right, of tequila. And all of these brands has his own followers,
Yes.
since the biggest one to the smallest one. Jake has a point. When we are producing a really small batch, like in El Alma, for example, it's impossible try to make the same profile 2 times, right? Because the agave, the fermentation, the distillation, even when you have a very deep understanding about the production, even the summer or the winter or the fall, it's important because the yeast, when you are using, for example, wild yeast, the yeast has a very different activities in the summer in Jalisco in a 30 Celsius degrees, or in December, in the winter, with 15 Celsius degrees, right? Because the yeast is a living thing. And as a living thing, it's reacting to the environment. So which is the main difference between batch number 1 and batch number 2? For batch number 2, at Peña Blanca, they just bought a whole copper alambique. We are using copper for the first production, but for the second production, we are using a new one. As a boy, I want to use that new toy. You know what I mean? Then I talked with Melanie, we are always using copper, but right now we have a new alambique, a new pot still.
Well, we
right,
did
of
stainless.
copper.
First production, we did stainless steel. We
Stainless.
distilled twice stainless steel with a copper pot
Copper,
twice.
exactly.
But second production, first distillation was stainless copper. Second
second,
distillation
just copper.
was copper.
Copper.
Yes.
And
That-
what you've got though is a house style. These
Yeah,
these are not like unrecognizably different. Nothing like that.
And let me tell you
lot
this.
1, lot 2.
But I freaked out, Jake. I freaked out.
Yes.
Did you?
Because
Why?
I did. Because I was an idiot. That's why I freaked out.
no.
But you
I-
freaked out in which way?
Well, you know what? I tell people that we sip like a single estate vineyard Cabernet, and I didn't believe it, right? That was my deficiency. And so when we were tasting the second production, I was like, this second production doesn't taste like the first production. And Oscar was like, go to your hotel.
but truly delicious still.
Still delicious, but
Yeah.
he was like, go to your hotel. Just drink all night, right? And then I will pick you up in the morning and we will have a conversation. And I remembered literally drinking all night. And I was like, oh shit, second
It's
production
great.
is beautiful.
So-
But I get it. When
Right.
you are distilling twice in a different way, you extract different notes from the soil, from the juice that give you that highlights pieces here that doesn't highlight pieces there.
Sure.
And so I was like, there's nothing wrong with that. But that was my own negligence and understanding of the production process.
It's your own palate.
So when I showed up when he picked me up the next day, I was like, let me apologize to you because my deficiency in understanding what you do had me at a point where I was confused because I was in my mind thinking, we sold out 350 cases on our own. We've got to give people what they want, but you can't give people what they want when you tell people that you sip like a single estate vineyard Cabernet. I will say this. First production is for real tequila heads. I feel like if you really understand additive-free juice and you want that herbaceousness, that is what you love. I feel like if you are experiencing additive-free juice and you want a more balanced, I love balanced better than smooth, a more balanced approach, the second production aids that, but it's like a single estate vineyard Cabernet. Your 2013 doesn't sip like your 2009, doesn't sip like your 2005, doesn't sip like your 2017. The soil makes a difference. The water makes a difference. The environment makes a difference.
Yep.
And so my negligence was I didn't understand the difference.
It's-
and so that's
it's-
why I always apologize to him.
No.
I
You
always
don't need it.
apologize to you.
Because for me, it's really easy to understand. And you mentioned, for example, 5 minutes ago, when you tried both profiles, and you say, oh, yes, the first one reminds me a lot to this specific tequila from this year, right? I am not trying to be disrespectful, but this is my understanding. Right now, for example, the tequila consumption here in the United States, a lot of people has my age, right? And in my age, we like sweet tequilas, very high quality tequilas, kind of, how is the word that you're using? Balanced tequilas, right? That you can sip it, you can drink a whole bottle, and the next day, no hangover.
Run a
no headache.
marathon.
You know what I mean? So that's my point between the different batches. Also, for example, for me, it's a little bit more easy to try to explain this to the people because also a lot of huge brands or brands, they are using, for example, the single estates in order to try to realize as a consumer that every expression, it's going to be a very small differences. Why? Because we are not producing. The only way, in my opinion, that you can make always the same is when you are using, for example, additives or when you are using something
Or
chemical in
blending
order
lots.
This is probably a very important part of the podcast for people to
But
hear
it's my
and to get
opinion.
this.
And let me tell you this: I am not.
I have no offense to additives.
No. Exactly, right?
We don't use it, but I don't
Exactly.
disrespect people who do.
I
No?
am not using.
Well, I'm a consumer and I hate that
Yeah.
shit.
No,
I'm
say that.
surprised to
No,
hear
no.
that.
Well, it's,
No,
it's your
you know what?
perception.
I'm definitely down on additives.
You know
because
what?
if you're putting additives, it's an absolutely it's obligatory. It's an obligation to disclose
Exactly.
what additives you're adding.
And let me say this.
And nobody does that.
Let me say this. And as a goat, I feel like you have the purge to say that. As a newbie, my approach to additives is it goes back to everybody has their different style.
Additives for me are chemical cheats.
I don't use additives, but I don't have the audience of people who listen to me. But you have one that people do. And so your
I have no
work-
evidence anyone listens to me.
No, let me tell you, Jake, you've been in this game. Shit, I didn't realize you've been in this game since 1995. I know your history with Espelon. I did not know the history.
You knew
before.
that? Wow. Yeah. I launched that.
I didn't know the history prior to that. So you've literally been
Jake
here.
is a legend.
You've
sure.
literally
You gotta wait
been
for it to
here
work.
for what 30 plus years. So you get to share what you want to share.
Additives are really an abomination.
No, in this world, but real quick, as I look at in your eyes, in this space, you are.
No, but in this
So I know you
tequila
hate that
world.
shit.
Abomination?
No, legend.
No, be honest, space.
and you know what?
In the world of tequila,
Let's
Jake
get
is
back to
shit.
talking about this wonderful
but,
tequila.
Hey, but Jake is a man of the
And
people.
then we have to drink 1146
So-
because I remember when I first got my gift.
So
I really am enjoying this.
yeah, so
This-
You like the high proof?
Yeah, I
50%?
really, really do.
can
Why
I
50%?
So
and
can
a
I?
little bit subtle cinnamon note pops, those baking spice pops from very mature agave.
Let me tell you this. Before me and Melanie, you are the first official guys that is trying Enelama.
It's
Añejo.
tremendously delicious.
Right.
Yeah, you guys are our first.
This
Yes,
is
yes.
this is
So
worth
the
Wow.
whatever you
I-
charge for
well,
it. This is fantastic.
So I'm the only one of the three
Very
that's not
complete-
in the
very complete
that's not in the
profile.
spirit business.
top to bottom,
I'm strictly a
And not too
consumer.
I just want to be consistent.
it's fantastic.
So I'm strictly a consumer, and I can just tell you that I rarely drink añejos. So if you were to come to my house,
Reposados.
my
Holy smokes, this is so
my
good.
favorite tequila that I drink at home is probably a reposado, and the reason being is on the añejo side, I think that it's a little too sweet for my palate. A lot of the
one?
añejos, no.
Oh, right.
That's where I'm going
Right.
with
The
this.
regular ones.
So anyways, I'm just
No.
just kind of leading.
Because you're getting color
I-
added, you're getting flavor added. This is just juice. This is
This
just
is a remarkable distillate. Right?
This is pretty spectacular.
It
It hits you. Like it definitely, I know immediately that this is a little higher proof. Is all I'm saying. But
I
in
just
a-
think that
in a-
pushes the flavors.
It does. It hits you. But what I'm saying in a very smooth hit. It's a very
delivers for
very
you.
yeah it delivers.
You don't want to
Well-
get hit by the delivery truck. You don't want to.
Did you remember
delivery.
5 minutes ago when you make the question was for me is the most complicated to produce? Is for me the most complicated
Blanco.
to produce is blancos.
Okay.
Why? Because reposados, añejos, and extra añejos you can realize, for example, how. So since my point of view, every step that you go forward, there is a lot of doors in front of you that you can explore and you can knock. You know what I mean? For example, talking about the reposados, the añejos, talking about the barrels. Let me tell you this. According to the Mexican law, we need to use white oak. Right? Okay, white oak. It's easy to understand. Okay, we need to use white oak wood in order to make some barrels. But the law and the people never tells you that you can use American oak, French oak, Hungarian oak, England oak, Turkey oak, wine, champagne, cognac, whiskey, you name it. So imagine the possibilities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what happened if, for example, according to the Mexican law, in order to call it reposado, we need minimum 2 months, maximum 1 year. Okay, what happened when you are making some blends using 10 barrels of white oak and 15 barrels of French oak and 3 barrels of Hungarian oak, for example? imagine the possibilities and the all complexity that you can get. So for that reason, I am very, very focused on Blanco. And I am leaving the reposados to somebody else and the añejos to somebody else, right? Because there is a lot of things in order to play, right?
Who says that you can only age them for up to a year, the reposados?
The CRT.
CRT. They tell you
So-
everything that you can do.
So I guess my question on that is why?
Because the word
No, we
the
need
word reposado in English is repose,
rested.
and repose is just rest,
Mhm.
and that's where the word comes from. So you like the Wallace Stegner, who wrote about the American West and water in Californian history, he had that book, The Angle of Repose. It's just the angle of rest, you know. So
Oh.
you don't want to communicate a message of having an extended aging if it's just the intent to be rested.
Jake, I'm
So I
about
think-
to find you, real quick, I'm about to find you a ghostwriter because you need a book and an Audible. Like, we need to be downloading you
Calling audibles.
8 months. You know, Audibles, absolutely. You know, Audible, right? We need to be downloading you and your experience. 8
Anything
months from
good would
now.
have to be left out.
No.
No, come on.
So
So let me finish my point. So at the end of the day, we are following the Mexican law to produce tequila.
We have to.
Right? We have to. And we respect a lot because
And we love the CRT.
we need it. We need it. The CRT,
There's a lot of good people in CRT.
Absolutely.
Yes, for sure. So the CRT is not has his own part bad for sure, but it's not all bad.
Shout out to Sam at Tequila Partners, who are our dry good partners on the ground
we-
in
I mean, I'm not just
Mexico.
being political by saying that.
But-
Also,
but-
people devote their lives, their careers to
No.
the CRT, and they're
My
Well, this is
original-
why I'm
hardworking,
shouting
well,
out
good
Sam. I don't know if you know the guys over at Tequila Partners, Vinny Estrada,
Tequila Partners is a
JP
company.
Diaz. We've been working
Oh,
with them.
JP, yeah.
Yes, JP
Actually,
from Miami.
it is Oscar who introduced us
Yes, I
to
introduced
Tequila
you.
Partners, and they handle all of our dry goods on the ground.
Mhm.
And so
We are a
CRT is
huge
important.
Team.
This añejo is so cracking.
So just to finish in my
Sam.
point, we are following the Mexican law to produce. Reposados is minimum 2 months, maximum 1 year. Añejos is minimum 1 year, maximum 3 years. Extra añejo, it's minimum 3 years in barrels. So when you understand the law, you can play a lot with the numbers and with the months and with the days and with several barrels and several things in order to try to make different expressions of reposados, añejos, and extra añejos. That's why my point. And also, according to the Mexican law, in order to sell tequila, the minimum ABV in all around the world is 35% alcohol by
Yeah.
volume.
You guys have a different ABV
maximum-
in Mexico than we do in the U.S.
Exactly.
this
But-
one's 50.
No, the maximum, according to the Mexican law, is 55.
Yeah.
Real quick, we're gonna take a quick break.
One of the things that I would love to
Wow.
just talk about with I know
This is
I know
high-quality
that I'm not interviewing. But one of the things I would like to just ask Jake about, right? Like when you've been in a game for this long, for 30 plus years. And I get it. You didn't have I appreciate what you say in terms of I had the vision and intentionality. I did, and Orlando Cepeda. My brother loves Orlando Cepeda. My brother loves baseball. He composed a whole suite.
We had his son on the
About
podcast,
baseball.
by the way.
I got to bring you and my older brother Marcus together. But what I love about you is just your history and connectivity. And so that's why I'm like, you got to do something that records who you are and what you've done in this moment, not selfishly, but for other people coming behind you.
I think, to be really honest with you,
And
my
don't just,
purpose and my existence in this whole thing has really been to showcase producers.
so when you're selfless, that's what you say. But I'm saying this from a standpoint of there are people
when I'm
that are
selfish, it's to pay the rent.
no, I get it. Let me tell you, I'm hand-to-hand combat, right? Like, we won't be profitable until hopefully Q1 2028. That's a whole different conversation. But
Yep.
you have so much knowledge. People come to this with a very skewed understanding about what it means to own a brand, right? I think people think tequila is a hot category. They feel like, oh my God, I'm going to find a distillery. And they don't understand the work, the effort, the sweat, the sacrifice. And so that's why when I say to you, I hope you entertain recording your journey in a way that is inspiring beyond our industry, but just what it means to have a passion, even when you didn't even know the passion existed within you, right?
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And that's
Very
why
kind. Very kind of you.
and that's
Thank
why
you.
I asked the question in terms of where do you go from here? Like, you know, what is up next for you? If you
I'd
can or
tell you, but
cannot
I'd
say
have
it.
to kill you.
Okay.
Well, real quick,
I'll
Oscar,
si- I-
That's the secret.
I mean, I'll sign an NDA to get it.
We're starting to embark on a full extension of the whole ArteNOM thing.
What does that look like? What does that mean?
It's called ArteNOM Barrica Primera Selección. What a mouthful. But ArteNOM First Barrel Selection, because we see
I have it.
I have it. Thank you.
we see both tequileros
Cheers.
looking for cheers.
Salud.
Cheers.
It's my honor, boss.
Now we are
Melanie.
drinking the
It's my
goat.
honor.
We're seeing
Smooth.
tequileros looking to still have fun with different expressions and kind of novel one-off attempts, and just like any artist. I mean, I love that Oscar said earlier, making tequila is a blend of technicality and
Artistry.
artistry. And so that artistry component's got to be continuously nurtured. And they have a desire, understandably, to try different things and show different, push against different walls to go to different places in what they're producing. And consumers seem very intrigued with that. Good brother David Driscoll has been convincing me for years that it's so important to keep offering new expressions and new additions and show that we're not like some Stella. We're not something static. And then the third component in the triumvirate is independent retail struggling against big, large chain format stores or places, with hundreds of locations, God bless them, but how to maintain their relevance. And so we see an opportunity for stewardship, understanding those three components, and to do a real determined program on single barrels and special editions. And because ArteNOM has the exciting privilege of working with so many different distillers,
I was going to say the wherewithal.
we get the opportunity to bring more of that kind of exponential cross meandering through them. We're not just representing a producer; we represent a bunch of them or various of them. So I just decided to kind of step up the game with ArteNOM in a kind of furthering the direction, not changing it. Higher proofs, single barrel selections, and that whole thing is barrica, which means barrel, primera selección, which means first selection.
First selections.
Would
So
would you ever do a physical location, an experience for people where people can come and visit and experience all of your brands under one roof?
Yeah.
I guess
Actually,
my
a
next-
dream that we had
when is it coming?
before pandemic was to do kind of an international house in Guadalajara, where we would have.
This is why I
Shit.
love him, because the first when you asked the question, I thought he was going to say hell no, and he said yes, but you said in
It's a
Guadalajara.
complete-
That's keep on going on that.
Well, we're fortunate to have, like, through the hard work that guys like Oscar Vazquez are doing, really won over some hearts and minds globally. Last summer I was doing tequila master trainings in Beijing and
you realize in
Shanghai.
the words of Joe Biden, you're a big fucking deal, right? Like,
I mean, it's the producers that are making this
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
it's the producers, but it's also the
It's
vision.
the guy sitting to your left,
the
you
vision.
know.
But it's also the vision.
Well, I don't have
It's
the
the
vision. The
potential.
vision comes along, you know. You see, you get nothing like
You see
getting
the
vision
vision.
of the next block when you turn the corner. You know?
I appreciate the
No drones
humility,
in the
but
house.
I appreciate the humility.
But it's been
you.
impressive to see that, you know, work the Australian markets, work repeatedly, Shanghai, Beijing, Singapore, and, you know, Germany, France.
How many countries
England.
are you in?
I don't know.
First of all, I love
That's
that you're rattling them out.
wild.
That's
Very well,
I'm so
good
impressed
answer,
with
right?
that.
I don't know.
I
No,
love
I
that.
mean, it's very
and,
honest.
and honestly, like
Congratulations.
that's
I
textbook
just
Jake.
don't know. But,
ArteNOM has his own
but
magic.
back to the point that it's all just really. I guess that point is that I don't know really 2 steps out. I'm not a 3-dimensional chess player.
But you play it on some level.
I think you live in the moment. You're a big live in the moment guy.
I mean, you said earlier in the interview I talk too loud, and I'll reveal if it's not already evident. I talk too much, but the little bit that I can hear and observe, those give me my indications of what to do. But that's born out of pragmatism.
Maybe if I can say something about your question and your answer, that right now in my age, so this is my vision, this is my future, my idea. I do believe that right now we are living the real beginning of the golden age of the tequila, right? And somebody says the other day in an interview, and so this is not my idea. I listen for somebody else in another podcast, but I do really believe that, right? Because right now the people, the consumers, not just here, in all around the world, they are realizing that, for example, tequila has his own magic, his own thing. You
As
know what
does
I mean?
Mexico.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And my point is just the potential.
Yeah.
We have the potential.
And that was the idea behind that international
Exactly.
house. To
Exactly.
a place for Berlin, Shanghai,
It's the potential.
Sydney, New York, Mexico City bartenders, Medellin, Lima,
Right
to
now-
all come
In one
and
space.
know each other and
Right
meet
now,
each
for
other
example,
Wow.
and really foment this,
Let me
this
tell you this.
devotion and
Right now in Mexico,
passion.
we are receiving a lot of visitors from,
Yeah.
for example, from India looking for tequila.
yes.
You know what?
Yes.
So my point is, as a Mexican, I am hosting a people from India looking for high quality tequilas.
Yeah.
So I am talking about of another country in the opposite side of the world looking for tequilas, looking for something very Mexican thing for me. You know what I mean?
And my interest right now is how to bring all of these disparate, impassioned enthusiasts, and not just enthusiasts, people who are working, opening
they are
tequila bars,
they are
and
working.
mezcalerías,
They are working in his own knowledge in order to understand very deeply the process, the quality, the flavor, the everything.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Then when you try to share your own
fascinating.
experience, it's fascinating for sure.
Brother, look at you, man.
That's the reason. Yeah,
I love it. I love to see this.
I just feel like
I'm glad to see Oscar. Like, that's another thing. 30 years that I get to see.
Yes.
No,
You're talking
it's
about Armando and Germain and Besalel Arellanes and
Besalel
Oaxaca,
Arellanes, the
those guys.
masters of Oaxaca.
To see those kids go from 7 and 9 years old
This is
to
special.
37, 39.
I love that.
To see Oscar in only the last 10 years
Yeah,
coming to his
living
own. I mean, that is like gotta be one of the richest gifts that our Lord can give us, you know, to see that.
So that is leadership, where you can recognize where someone started and appreciate where they are. That is love and leadership.
Yeah.
Plenty of love.
I wanted to say this real quick to your Gold Rush comment of tequila. I just think that that's so spot on, that's so correct, and this is why I believe that. because the world, I guess you say the world or whatever, people want to. We live in a world right now where we want to support the small business owner, right? I don't want to go to Total Wine to buy my spirits. I want to go to buy my spirits from Roe. I'm just saying I might, like, if I'm in a pinch, I'll go to Total
I'm
Wine.
not mad at Total Wine.
I might, okay,
Total
I
Wine,
might,
but I'm not-
if I'm in
but
a pinch.
I would start with
if I'm in
Roe
a pinch,
first.
okay, let me just go this down. If I'm looking for a restaurant, if I'm looking for
Absolutely.
whatever you might want to call it, I can even go back down to the Oaxaca story, right? When David picked us up that second day, the first day, he took us to Don Amado. And when I saw him the next morning, I had to apologize to him profusely because I fell out of a moving car.
Was that when you were doing a worm on the sidewalk?
And
He
David,
was
Thinking
doing
it was
a worm?
1987.
hey, David was
He's
like,
not even born in
I saw
1987.
Brother Crosby
He's like,
say he's
hey,
doing a worm to a
he's like-
slow song.
you're fine.
Chris
But
Cezanne.
no, but when he took us to this incredible, where they made the rugs and,
I'm like,
took us to this incredible restaurant. My point
It goes
is,
hard.
you want to. I just feel we live in a culture now, especially with social media. Like social media is.
I notice we are laughing about the worm piece, and you have like discounted us over here.
I didn't
what
do
is
the
that?
worm. I jumped out of a moving car. Dude, this guy, half the shit that comes out of his mouth. You gotta, like,
you sent
question.
me a picture, fool.
Yeah.
Well,
This is
one
what
of
I
taking
love.
of you.
I love real friendship. I love this.
So my point though is
See.
it's
Feels like it
I'm
was
the
a worm.
consumer. I want to dial it down. I want to find the special small batch, and that applies to everything in life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think social media, if I'm just being honest, we can go off on a tangent on this exactly. Social media will expose you.
Yeah. a
So
lot.
social media will, that's why it does such a good job at going, okay, where can we find the stuff that is special, that's not being made in mass quantities, that people enjoy, and then here's the best part, where there's stories behind it. Like to Jake's point, like, dude, this dude loves the Mexican people. Like he's been visiting and lived at
He's
like
a Mexican.
Dude, that is it. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
never said that I love the Mexican people.
so anyways, to your point, I agree. I think this is a very exciting time.
Yes.
I think that, for me, like I'm not the guy when I go out to a restaurant where I'm just gonna like kind of drink anything. I'll like literally pick my restaurants. Like you mentioned a restaurant, El Patio. Like I'm sure it's kind of a staple for you guys.
Tragically just closed last week.
Are you kidding me?
Is that the same owner who had a spot in Oakland, right there in Jack London Square, across from
No,
Ben and
Alfonso, you're
Jerry's?
thinking Alfonso.
Okay.
And that was Tamarindo
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
on
He's
8th.
got-
He was on 8th.
Wow.
But that's not him.
Okay.
But he's great. Alfonso Dominguez is his brothers. But it's the economic cycle that we're going into.
Real quick, because I wanted to hear, she mentioned it, and I'm just absolutely curious because I don't even know myself. The tequila brands that you own what are those brands? Real quick.
Tequila is ArteNOM. One called Pa Todos. Tequila Pa Todos. But ArteNOM with its different expressions. And
So
then
Cimarron-
Mezcal.
Cimarron, though.
No. I'm the importer, U.S. wholesaler for Cimarron.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
So that's a two-part question. Like, what are the brands you owned, and what are the brands that you bring into the United States?
So now I'm confused because the brands that you bring in the United States.
You don't have to own them. You
The
can have
one-
an importer's license.
Enrique Fonseca, who 1146 is just a very old dear friend and confidant.
This, first of all,
And,
we're drinking your 1146, which I was introduced to
Mm-hmm.
in 2014 by a client.
Amazing.
Beautiful,
That's amazing.
doesn't disappoint, still amazing and incredible.
It's never disappointing.
That's why I say thank you for your leadership.
Smooth.
That's why you
Well, I
keep
have a
up.
good partner there. That's
ArteNOM's never
Enrique.
disappoint.
That's leadership, though. You and fucking. Sorry,
No,
I
no.
curse a lot. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you need to
Oscar.
listen my
But you and
Spanish for sure.
Oscar, you guys keep diverting accolades. Take
Well,
the
because
accolades.
it's not about us. It's about
I
the,
know
it's
it's
about
not
this
about you,
agave.
but take the win.
You know where this all started was when I was a kid, long before I knew of mezcal or tequila. Just an enamoration with the agave.
Uh-huh.
It's just really a tremendous plant.
But can
and
I
I
say,
remember when I learned the 36 uses that indigenous
How old were you?
high school. And I was reading a book. And
Where'd you go to high school? Because I know you grew up in the town.
Berkeley High and McClymonds.
You went to Mac.
I was the only white boy at McClymonds.
Clearly.
There were
The
two
only white boy.
white women, white girls. Of course,
And if you
we stayed away
And
from
we're
each
the
other.
same
They- I
age,
didn't
so you
even know them,
graduated-
But I
you-
was the sole white
you graduated
boy.
from Mac in 1990.
I graduated from Berkeley High. Actually, another high school. I had some issues. back
Okay,
then.
no. You said Mac and Berkeley High. I lived in the town, so I know the difference. So
Yeah.
you,
Yeah,
which one?
some rich
90,
times in Mac.
90 Berkeley High.
No, I didn't end up graduating from Berkeley High.
Okay. You were at both institutions in
Correct.
88, 89,
Correct.
90.
Correct.
That's where we'll stop.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you're a town legend, right? When you can say you went to Berkeley High and Mac, that's a whole conversation. Chris, I would
Last
love
stories.
to walk you through Berkeley High and Mac and Oakland.
I mean,
But that's not what we're here to do.
no,
No, but at some point in time I will because we're family.
100%. And I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
So let's talk real quick. We'll transition.
Oh, the agave we were talking about.
Oh yeah.
That's where
right,
that's
right.
where the passion starts. I think.
We
For
want you to
actually a
name
lot
all
of
your
us.
brands.
Yeah.
You start to learn like this plant
Fucking
has
fabulous.
been
Has a lot of things.
critical to
So many.
sustenance and daily practice in Mexico and other indigenous peoples throughout the Mesoamerica, the Americas. We're talking for like 3,000 years at least, since we don't know really when the Mexica, but then the Toltecos
Exactly,
and everything,
yeah.
but sewing
historical.
needles, weaponry, thatching, fiber for rope, for thatching, for shoes.
Everything.
It's like this is just a magic miracle plant. And agave in Greek means noble.
I didn't know that.
We are talking about the cultural, and we are talking about since the first Mexicans, right?
La
Before
Mexica.
so I am talking about my first ancestors. How do
Yeah.
you say ancestro?
Yeah.
Ancestors?
Ancestors, thank you.
Yeah.
Was in Mexico, for example, drinking pulque
Yeah.
or drinking some aguamiel.
And so,
So
a lot of
because the
confusion
agave-
about aguamiel and pulque. What they would do from a different variety of the agave. Sorry, Oscar, just to tell you,
No,
because
no, no,
it's
please.
so critical in learning or understanding, imbibing agave derivatives. Goes back hundreds of years when guys would, and who's to say it would only be guys? We don't really know. So much we're learning now, like
We
the
were
hunter, the
women were
gatherers, and the
there.
hunters. Women were there.
Yeah.
Women were also
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely part of it. It's
Yeah.
just this
we
rewriting
weren't
of
just
history
we
that
weren't
was all
documented,
being,
but it is
but
what it is.
but
thank you for
a
the
pathway
acknowledgement.
to the heart of the plant, to the piña, of what's called the pulquiana, which has a very different penca, a very big, wide, it doubles over. Getting in there and with obsidian scraping the top of the piña in like 3, 4, 5 in the morning, then leaving,
A couple
letting
of days.
8 hours pass, 9 hours, coming back and pulling out sap with a siphon from a carrizo, like a piece of bamboo, into a gourd, which has high caloric value and no alcohol, and feeding that as essentially like, instead of, baby formula or pumping milk, like a sustenance, high caloric, drinkable to give infants. And then in the second day, ambient yeasts start to find the
Fermentation.
botanical sugars that are in there, the same way that ambient yeast in your fridge spoil your yogurt or your applesauce if you go on a vacation for a week and you come back and you go, oh, it's kind of tingly. It's getting
That
fruity,"
is so,
and you
Uncomfortable.
throw that
Do
away.
you understand the knowledge that we are fucking getting right now, Chris Cezanne?
And then by the third day, you know, the local pulqueria can say, "Ay pulque,"
Yeah, exactly.
and
And you wonder why I think you should write a book.
You see.
Thank you. But
I'm sorry.
But,
I'm
but
sorry,
the idea
Lord.
of and even in that pulque, you know, no pulqueria can actually say, "Yeah, we have pulque every day," because
No.
that's not authentic.
Exactly.
So it creates a whole different engagement, right, with the drink and respect for it. Like how much me and my compas wanted to drink some pulque right now, but no hay pulque because we're not in the rhythm right now. Come back tomorrow. And just learning, it's just a whole different thing than, I love this, I'm demanding it. My friends are here. We're owed this. Like, that's very Western. It's very out of sync with any kind of flow.
He said
it's
Western,
trying to,
it's the entitlement
it's
of
trying
the West.
to, yes, very entitled.
Yeah.
Very, very, it can't be low tide. I need to get out right now. Sorry, what are you going to do? Yeah, wait till it's high tide, mofo.
Yeah. Sometimes the another day, for example, somebody asked me if, for example, the agave was bringing to Mexico for the Hispanic people. No, the agave is from
What an insult, huh?
Mexico.
What a
No,
crazy notion.
The people has question and
Yeah. I
it's-
guess there's no bad question.
exactly
It's
there
true.
is no bad question.
Right.
So no, the agave
Until
for
it's a
example,
stupid fucking question.
no.
But
The
not
agave,
bad.
for example, in Mexico has thousands of years, right? So the aguamiel, the pulque, the fermentation things has in Mexico since before the Hispanic people. The Hispanic people bring us the distillation.
Right.
Well,
No, they did.
The method, the copper, for example.
But
right?
they did bring distillation.
Yes, exactly.
And they brought you
then,
brandy too.
The only
And
reason
then-
I'm so assertive on that is that there's been
exactly.
people trying to.
right now, Mexico is the blend between the cultures, between the Hispanic and between the indigenous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all the understanding about the plants, all the understanding about the soil, the nature, the environment, also with the scientific from the Hispanic people.
Yeah.
For that reason, right now, for example, we have tequilas, mezcal, sotol, bacanoras, raicillas.
That's why I get so annoyed when South Africans or Australians or even here in California, I was invited to participate in this recent conference, and I just like, no, this is historically, culturally relevant and a huge component in one shape or another of Mexican core culture and history, and not for opportunists. I just really don't, rum you can make anywhere. These places don't have histories of,
Like vodka, they have no history either.
I mean, they do where they're from, Eastern Europe.
I know.
Absolutely.
But
The word vodka is water. I
but
mean,
they
that
don't-
goes way back.
they don't pay homage to it like gin. They don't pay homage to it either.
I think a lot of the world spirits do have their origin.
They have
And
origins, but they
people
don't
who
respect them. My opinion.
I mean, I don't know enough to comment on that. I haven't hung out with old, Polish families that have been making potato vodka for generations.
generations.
To
just-
tell
I'm
them
gonna say
that
the
they're
melanated people
opportunistic.
that I know that bring it to it.
Right. But what I do know is that this spirit is derived from a plant that's had cultural relevance and its place in the region, in the cultures and it's not a culture. There are hundreds of cultures.
For example, according with that, when you was in Oaxaca, when they are making his convites or his parties, for tradition, they are drinking just mezcal, right? Because the mezcal is not just for get drunk and have a party. The mezcal was something very, very unique because it's something weird between the religion and also the ancient cultures or the ancient gods, for example. So the fact that you are in Oaxaca drinking mezcal in a party is something more spiritual, is something more how do you?
And I'm hearing you, but I'm thinking, boy, that boy can dance. I seen you out there with your lady.
Right. You
I'm
remember
tracking.
that party?
I'm tracking what you're saying though.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because,
drinking in its place.
Can I just say
Its
this too?
origin.
Like you can. I am not saying this. This is like a fact. This is real.
mm-hmm.
Once I found and developed a love for the agave,
Mm-hmm.
there's no other spirit in my house.
Right.
Like I'm literally trying to tell you this. Like my buddy the other day, I won't turn down when my buddy brings over this special little thing of bourbon,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
but it doesn't. There's not this like spiritual thing that happens when I'm drinking
Mm-hmm.
an agave, and whether that be in a mezcal or tequila, it is even more special now that I get to look you in the eyes, and I'll never forget this because
Yeah.
now I can make the connection. When
Thanks,
Melanie had
thanks.
me over to
It's-
her, when Melanie had me over to her house, and I was sipping her tequila that she had that wasn't even in like, well, it wasn't in stores yet, but she had the bottle.
First
You
protection.
know what I mean? And I'm like, whoa, this is special. And now I'm sitting here locking eyes with the man that made it, and I'm also looking at my brother who like absolutely love Lustig,
Mm-hmm.
and of course you guys have history. It's just a very special thing. You know, like I almost feel like I want to clear out all of the other spirits that I have in my
No,
house
no,
because when
it's-
I'm laying down and I want to like I've had a long day of work and I want to forget what happened
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of relax and I'll pour myself a nice little Don Amado and I'm like
Good
and
mezcal.
I'm also now I'm like I'm coming back in time where like I'll take a sip of it and I'm like I'm thinking of sitting at the table with Armando. You know what I mean? And like
yeah.
it just
No, you've really you connect with people, and you've really connected with.
That's
These
one
people.
ability that has the Mexican spirits, mezcal,
Yeah.
tequila, right? So I do believe,
The
and I
conviviality.
feel really proud. Let me tell you this: I always try to be humble person because at the end of the day, when I finish this life, I am not taking anything with me.
Well, you can't.
No, just you know what? The only thing that I am trying to put all my effort producing good juice for my partner, for my friends, is just because at the end of the day, I am trying to support my family the best that I can, the best thing that I can. You know what I mean? Because it's not for me; it's for my family, right?
Real
I have three biggest followers. It's my wife Esmeralda and my two daughters Emma and Ruth. She always, for example, my daughter Ruth, every single time that she see me and in a podcast on a social media thing, hey, Daddy, you're a very famous person. And I say, no, she has 9 years old. She has not enough age in order to understand all the effort that I am trying to do for my family. You know what I mean? Because it's not for me, it's for my family.
She will, because you do.
Well, it's just because at the end of the day, Jake, and I told you a lot of times, I have not enough words, to express how gratitude I have that the people consider in me as a master distiller or something like that. Maybe in 1,000 years, I always say is that maybe in 1,000 years I could be a good master distiller. Right now, I am just a man trying to support his family with my skill, and my skill is to produce some alcohol.
you're doing a really amazing job at it, my man.
You know what I mean? So
real talk.
that's the point.
Absolutely.
And I feel really proud. This is real. I feel really proud to be as a Mexican having the greatest opportunity to talk about the tequila and the Mexican spirits to all around the world.
Let's
There
go.
it is.
That we have enough quality, we have enough effort, we have enough hours, we have a lot of hands behind of every bottle that you are drinking, supporting families in Mexico and trying to put the name very high in all around the world. That's my thing, right?
What a mission. That's right.
I just want to say that we're ending on that. Like
Couldn't end it on a better note.
I like
No.
that right there.
Let me cry.
That's what it is.
No,
That's what it is.
that
man.
like
That's what it is. That's real talk.
I
You know it.
cannot. First of all, I cannot wait to meet
Thank
your
you, Oscar.
wife and your two daughters
Uh-huh.
'Cause
I'm
that-
working in his visas.
because that's happening. I think that it's
Sidebar:
special.
Chris is about to get married, and he has 2 daughters.
Yeah, I've inherited 2 daughters.
He's got 2
Okay,
daughters
yes.
and a fabulous wife that I finally get to meet
Tonight,
tonight.
yeah.
I've been loving on her for a year.
Man, Kendra's the best, and it's just special, man. Like we talked
Truly
about it.
his better half.
Yeah.
That's what my sister. That's what. Wait, Jake. That's what my sister-in-law says because my sister-in-law knows Kendra and Chris
I
really
love
well.
Chris. I just clown.
And she's like,
the way
oh my
we
God,
show
I
love both
Kendra.
in Mexico and here is to clown.
We were talking.
That's how we show our love.
Kendra was talking about Jake because we had Jake over for dinner, and when I told Kendra that we were having Jake on the podcast with Melanie, she's like, "I cannot wait to meet Melanie." And she's like, Jake, by the way, he's like a savant. Like he's just like because she talked to him, but no,
Pero echar que ríos, ¿no?
We
Yes,
need
yes,
Jake
yes,
to
yes,
do a
yes,
book.
yes, yes.
we do.
We're gonna put this out there. We're gonna find you a ghostwriter. You don't have to write it, Jake. You just have to tell the story.
To
I
every
like Oscar style. I'm just trying to pay the rent.
to all of our followers and listeners, this is
Cheers. We're drinking
to
1146
bless you.
ArteNOM, which is
ArteNOM.
fucking fabulous.
ArteNOM,
En
Enelama.
el alma.
Enelama.
Oscar.
ArteNOM.
Cheers.
Cheers, amigos. Thanks so
Salud.
much.
Thank you, Oscar.
Boss, Melanie.
Thank you.
We're
Really.
out.
Pleasure.